Hello dear students, today we are going to discuss chapter 1 of class 6 history book, and the title of the chapter is What, Where, How and When. We are going to discuss in this chapter about what people ate in the past, what kind of clothes they wore, what was their way of life, where did they live, how did they live, and how archaeologists and historians have come to know about these people who were living in the past. And we are going to discuss about the time period when these people lived in the subcontinent of India. So let's begin. Dear students, in the very beginning of your chapter, there is one girl, Rashida. She is reading newspaper and suddenly her eyes fell on one sentence 100 years ago. As she looked at this, she started wondering how a person can come to know about what happened 100 years ago, because we were not present here, so we cannot ask anybody. Dear students, if you want to know about yesterday, what happened yesterday, you can read newspaper, you can watch television, you can listen to radio. So you can come to know what happened yesterday. If you want to know what happened last year, you can ask anyone whosoever was present at the time of happening. If you want to know about long ago, say 100 years or 1000 years, so their question arises how a person can come to know about them. Dear students, we can read manuscripts. Manuscripts are the books written in past by hand. We can read any books of history. We can read inscriptions. Inscriptions are also written by hand, but these are written on hard surfaces. So with the help of these, we can come to know about past, about what happened 100 years ago or 1000 years ago. What we can know about past? Dear students, we can know what kind of food they ate, what kind of clothes they wore, and in what kind of houses these people lived. We can know many things about the lives of hunters, herders. Herders are the people who rear animals. They generally keep a group of sheep, goat, or any kind of cattle. Farmers, rulers. We can know about rulers means these kings. Merchants means traders, and priests, those who sit in the temple and worship, craft persons and artists, and musicians and scientists. If they were in the past, so we can know about the lives of these people. Moreover, we can know about the games of the children, what kind of games they played, what kind of stories they heard from their grandfathers, what kind of plays they watched. Here play we can take like some drama or some theatrical performance. So what kind of plays and dramas they used to watch, what kind of songs they used to sing. So we can know about all these things about the past. Here in your book only this was discussed that near river Narmada and its banks around in nearby areas, in the beginning several thousand years ago, skilled gatherers used to live. Here gatherer means a person who gathers fruits and forest produce for their survival, and they used to hunt animals as well. Means they are doing both these things. They used to gather fruits and forest produce as well as they used to hunt animals. But you should know about the meaning of skilled gatherers. One is simple gatherer, you go to forest and you gather anything whatever you find. But skilled gatherers means they had full knowledge of whatever part of plant is to be eaten, whatever should be avoided, what kind of plants are poisonous in the forest and we should not touch them. So such kind of all the knowledge they had, that's why they are described here as skilled gatherers, and they lived near the banks of river Narmada. You must have heard about river Narmada here in India. This is river Narmada. So around this, here in this region, these people lived. Further, let us talk about Suleiman and Kirthar hills. These are the places here in this region. You can see the map. Suleiman and Kirthar hills are in these regions now, which are part of Pakistan. So here 8,000 years ago first crops were grown. And what were these crops? These crops were wheat and barley. Wheat, you know, we always eat the chapatis made up of wheat flour. Barley is, in Hindi this is called jo, generally in Navratras people grow in the home, that is barley. Now they started rearing animals also, means they started domesticating animals like sheep. They used to keep a group of sheep, goats and cattle, other domesticated animals. And these people, they were living in the villages. And like in the beginning, if we will come to know about the very beginning of human beings, when they started living, they were not living in villages. They used to live in the forests or on the trees or in the caves. But now is in this region they started living in the villages 8,000 years ago. Let us have a look of Garo hills. In Garo hills, basically Garo hills are located here. You can see on the map, here are Garo hills. So in Garo hills only first agriculture had developed, and rice was grown in the north of Vindhyas. Vindhyas mountains are here in this region. So here first of all the rice was grown. So these are kind of GK questions as well as related to your chapter. So you should pay attention and learn these things. Further, let us have a look at river Indus. You can see this is river Indus here. This is river Indus and its tributaries. Tributaries are those rivers which fall in the main river. Like from here, Satluj river is coming and now it is falling in Indus. So now it has merged in Indus. So Satluj is tributary. Okay. Or there are so many other rivers which are coming and falling in Indus river. So now we are talking about this area. So 4,700 years ago, earliest cities flourished here in this region only. Earliest cities developed here. Afterwards, 2,500 years ago, then south of Ganga and its tributaries, there was a Magdha kingdom and other cities developed here. This is Ganga river. You can see Ganga river coming from here. It is coming here. So Magdha was in the region south to Ganga river. Not only this, many other kingdoms also emerged in India at that time. See, names are given here. Vatsa, it was also a kingdom. Vijji was also a kingdom. Malla was also a kingdom. Kosala was also a kingdom. Matsya, Avanti, Asaka, Gandhara, these all were kingdoms. Kuru, Panchala, Draupadi was from here. Sursena, these are the kingdoms which developed around 2,500 years ago. But Magdha was the most powerful kingdom. It emerged as powerful kingdom because here so many rivers were there, forests were there, they discovered mines also. So because of these natural resources, Magdha emerged as most powerful kingdom. And you must have heard about Ashoka and Chandragupta Maurya. So they had defeated the ruler of Magdha only, and then they acquired this and they converted into Maurya kingdom, and then they defeated nearby kingdoms and they created Bharat Varsh. Let's move ahead. Dear students, here in your book a new topic they have started, that is why did people travel in the past? Like we are traveling for so many reasons. What was the need in the past that they used to move from one place to another? Very simple. First of all, they used to move in search of livelihood. Livelihood means whatever job or they use for surviving. So for that they used to move from one place to another, or they used to move from one place to another to escape from natural disasters. Natural disaster means like flood, earthquake, or drought. You can say drought. So all these are natural disasters. So just to save themselves from them, they used to move from one place to another. Suppose in one area they are living near one river and the flood comes in that river, so they will leave that place and go somewhere else where there is no flood. So that way they will move from one place to another. They will move to conquer the land, to defeat others and to acquire their land. They will move for trade purpose as well, and they used to move in caravans. This caravan word is very important, you should know its meaning. Caravan can be group of any vehicles, maybe 100 cars are going, so you will say caravan is coming. Or there are bullock carts or camel carts and they are going in the groups, so they are also known as caravans. And in ancient times, these merchants and traders, they used to move in the caravans, they used to move in the group from one place to another to protect themselves from plunderers, dacoits, and any kind of threats. So they thought that if we will move in a group making caravans, then we will help each other and we will be able to protect us. Or some people would move from one place to another to preach religion, such as Gautam Buddha, Mahavir Jain, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They also moved from one place to another. They would on the way give suggestions to people, they will advise them, they will give them instructions and then keep moving from one place to another. Some people they moved for purpose of adventure also. Adventure means they feel thrill that we are moving from one place to another, let us see new places and all. So for that purpose also they used to move from one place to another. Some people came from different areas and they settled in the subcontinent. Here subcontinent means, in your chapter again and again you will find this word subcontinent or Indian subcontinent. So when we talk about Indian subcontinent, in that first of all full India, this Pakistan region, Bangladesh, Myanmar and all that. But below Himalayas, like there are Himalaya mountains and all this region, this is known as Indian subcontinent. Okay, so in Indian subcontinent, these Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, India, Nepal, Bhutan, all these countries are part of Indian subcontinent. So in past many people came and settled here in these regions, and this led to the sharing of ideas and this enriched our culture. Means these people, they have come from outside, they will share their ideas with us, we also will share our ideas with them. So then some new creativity will develop and new kind of culture will emerge. Like Hindus and Muslims, they when they shared ideas with each other, so different kind of building making styles, architecture and that developed. So that was the result of exchange of ideas with each other. Now the question arises, dear students, why do people travel nowadays? Nowadays though they can stay at one place, they don't have that kind of need like ancient people. But today also people move. Some of the reasons are similar to them. They move for job, they move for adventure, like you like to travel very far off places or you like to climb mountains and all that. So for adventure purpose also you go, for pleasure you go for picnic, to see mountains and snow and all that. You go from one place to another for business purpose and for studies as well. And nowadays so advanced vehicles are there, you can go from one place to another very quickly without wasting time. Let us discuss about names of land. How different lands are given the name. For example, let us talk about India. India has so many names. One is India, another is Bharat, and one more is there, that is Hindustan. So how did we get so many names? Dear students, listen very carefully. Here I am going to open so many secrets about ourselves only, which we are not even aware. India name is very simple. This has come from river Indus. So from river Indus, this is India. And this Indus river in Hindi, in ancient times, or in Hindi or Sanskrit, it was known as river Sindhu. So when Greeks like Alexander the Great came and attacked India, he was a Greek. So when they came, they pronounced this Sindhu as Hindu because they had some problem in their tongue. They always, their sa is pronounced as hai. So if Sindhu river is there and sa becomes hai, so what it becomes? This becomes Hindu. So they said people living near this river Sindhu, people living near this river Hindu, they are Hindus. So that's why we got the name Hindus. It has nothing to do with our religion. Okay. Then Iranians came. They call it Hindustan. Like the region near river Hindu, that is Hindustan, means Stan of Hindus, Hindu people. And who are Hindu? No one. They are simply just pronouncing it Hindu by mistake, and they are calling people living in this area, they are calling them Hindu. So this became Hindustan. This way we got the name Hindustan. Now, uh, here I want to tell you, now after telling you that this Hindu is not a religion, then what is the name of our religion? Can anyone tell? Dear students, you will feel surprised that you don't know the name of your own religion. Most of us belong to that religion and we consider we are Hindus, but in reality we are not Hindus. Name of our religion is Sanatan. Okay, in our Vedas, nowhere Hindu word is mentioned, only Sanatan word is mentioned. So, a name of our religion is Sanatan. Hindu was the word just used by them by mistake, so it is very funny. If somebody from outside comes to you, suppose your name is Mohan, somebody tells you your name is not Mohan, your name is Pinku, and after some time you start calling yourself Pinku Pinku. This looks very funny, but we have done very funny things about our religion. Its real name was Sanatan, but because they said it, you are Hindu, so we also accepted that we are Hindus. So you should know this real fact about your own religion. Now the question arises, how did we get the name Bharat? This is also very nice story to tell. In your book it is written that Bharat word comes from Bharata people who were living in northwest, and in Rig Veda, this is the oldest book of Sanatan religion or Hindu religion. In this book they have mentioned about Bharata tribe. But here I want to tell you one story of this child, small child who's playing with the lions. His name was Bharat. He was son of the king Dushyant and his wife Shakuntala, who was daughter of a sage or rishi. He got married with her and later on he forgot her and he refused to accept. She died here in the forest waiting for him that one day he will realize. But when he realized, by that time she was no more, then he came to find her at this place and he found her son, whose name was Bharat. He took him along with him and he became a very very strong and powerful king who defeated many other kingdoms, and he who was responsible for creating a huge kingdom. So his kingdom was known as Bharatvarsh, and from that we have got the name Bharatvarsh. Here I want to tell you that other than these names, there is one more name for our country, that is Aryavart. You should know about this as well. Aryavart. In the beginning, our country was known as Aryavart because Aryan people were living here in Sap Sindhu region, and they called themselves. So this area was called Aryavart. Finding out about the past. How can you find about the past? So many books were written long ago. These books are called manuscript because these are written by hand. Manu is a Latin word and its meaning is hand. So that's why handwritten books are known as manuscript. These were written on palm leaves or bark of birch. This birch tree is found in Himalayas, and this is really the bark of that birch tree which they make so thin, and it really works like a page, and it is long lasting also. It is lying with me at home, and in physical classes I show this page to my students as well. So I will show you also in school whenever there will be physical classes, but now you just have a look at this, that they used to write either on palm leaves or on the bark of birch tree. This is found in Himalayas. Why these mountains called Himalayas? Why not Himalaya? Such things you should always keep thinking, that will help you understanding social sciences. Dear students, this is known as Himalayas because Himalaya is not a single mountain. There are so many mountain ranges, like there are Shivalik ranges are there, another Jaskar range is there, so many other ranges are also there. So combined these ranges, they form Himalayas. That's why we don't call it Himalaya. This is known as Himalayas. So we are talking about manuscripts, that we can read manuscripts and we can come to know about past. But dear students, as these were written on the leaves, palm leaves or on the cloth, that is the reason that some of them have got destroyed with the passage of time, because leaves will decompose. But some of these are preserved in temples and monasteries. Temples, you know, but monasteries are also like temples. Monasteries are the temples of, you can say, Jainas or Buddhist people. Their places of worship are called monasteries. Here monks also live. Those who renounce the world and become monk, they live here and do their worship and other activities, and these are called monasteries. So these manuscripts and all, they can tell us about the kings in ancient times, what kind of medicines they were using for curing their diseases, what science they used to apply in their daily lives. These manuscripts contain even epics, poems and plays. Epics are, suppose poem is very short, but if poem becomes long, having 1000 lines, then this is not poem, then this will be called epic. Means long poems are known as epic. Plays are dramas, that I had already told you. And these manuscripts are written in different languages. These are written in Sanskrit, Prakrit and Tamil. Let's talk about inscriptions. Inscriptions, as I had told you, that these are engraved on hard surfaces like stone. See, you can see this is a stone, something is engraved on it. So this kind of thing is known as inscription. Inscriptions also we can use to know about the past. Lot many things inscriptions can tell. Generally, kings gave orders, and these orders were written on these inscriptions, or some inscriptions carry or contain the actions of the people. So, what kind of actions they will write on the inscriptions? For example, there is a very rich trader, and he has built a temple. Okay, so this action will be described on one inscription, that Mr. Ramchand, he has built this temple in the year 7000 AD, and this much money is spent, whatever. So this way some actions of the people also are written on inscriptions. And when kings defeated their enemies, that also they used to describe on inscriptions. So on inscriptions you can find these three types of things: king's orders, actions of the people, and the victories over their enemies. So what are the advantages and difficulties in writing on hard surfaces? Like, what are the benefits of inscriptions? First benefit is that it is long lasting. Suppose somebody wrote something on one stone 10,000 years ago. Until date you will find it intact. No one can change it, no one can tamper it with. Like if you have written something on manuscript, you can erase or then you can add something else. But here on stone, once you have written, it will remain as it is till thousands of years pass. So this is its benefit. But what kind of difficulties are there? Difficulties that you need a lot of labor, you need a person to appoint to write, it will take a lot of time in writing, and you need skill also to write on stone or metal or other hard surfaces. Dear students, let us talk about archaeologists. Archaeologists are the people who study things of past. Like they will dig the earth, they will find different kind of things, different things they will find in earth, then they will study it, and then they will write about the past. For example, they have excavated, they have found so many tools, weapons, pots, pans, ornaments like jewelry or coins. So these things they will excavate from the earth. These can be made up of bones, these can be made up of stone or baked clay or metal. So all these things they excavate from earth. But the things generally they perish after thousands of years ago. But whatever is made up of hard and imperishable material, that survives long. Imperishable material means which does not destroy, which does not destroy. That is called imperishable. So stone and metals are imperishable. So whatever things are made up of stone and metals, you will find them intact in the surface of the earth. Archaeologists study bones of birds also, bones of animals. So what is the need? Why they will study the bones of birds and animals? Dear students, here I want to tell you, they read these bones and bones of birds and animals to know about the eating habits of the people. For example, they have excavated, they have dig earth, they have found some houses, small houses, and near these houses they found some bones of cock, some bones of chicken. What does it mean? Its meaning is that these people used to eat non-veg food. So this way, by studying the bones of birds and animals, historians can come to know about their eating habits. Even they will study plant remains and grains. That also will help to know what kind of crops they used to grow. Because if you find wheat grains are there, barley is lying there, so that will tell that these crops were liked by them and they used to eat these grains. But grains cannot survive long. Some of the pieces of grain are found in charred form. This charred form means that these are burnt, or these can be half burnt, almost like blackish in color. So that is called charred form. So these black colored grains have been found, and archaeologists study that also, and then they come to know about many things about the past. So do you think cloth also can be found by the archaeologist when they will dig the earth? No, not at all, because cloth is a perishable material. Perishable means it will destroy, it will decompose. So you cannot find cloth so frequently, and that is the reason that we don't have many evidences about clothes of ancient people. Okay, let us talk about historians. Who are historians? First of all, I want to tell you, historians are those people who write history. Then what is difference in historians and archaeologists? Archaeologists, they generally dig earth, excavate earth, and then they found tools and weapons. Okay. Then it is the work of historians that they will study these properly and they will write the history. Then you will read those things in your history books. So historians use many sources to write history books or to know about the past. They use manuscripts, inscriptions, and archaeology. Archaeology is the activity of archaeologists. Archaeologists, as I had told you, those person who dig the earth. So their activity is called archaeology. Means historians, they will read manuscripts, they will read inscriptions, as well as they will study the things which have been discovered by archaeologists from earth. And after using these things, historians, they will reconstruct the history. Reconstruct means once history had been created, now these people are no more, but we are finding some evidences and again we will write history. So that is known as reconstruction of history. So like detectives, you must have seen detective programs. There some detectives are there and they are investigating a murder case. There they find some evidences and clues and they will use them and then they will come to conclusion. Okay, this is the conclusion. So similarly, these historians, whatever archaeologists have dug from earth, they will put all these things in front of them. They will read manuscripts, they will read inscriptions, then overall conclusion they will write in your books as a history book. Now question arises, there can be one past or many, because the title of your book is Our Pasts. Why not past? Do we have so many pasts? So here, dear students, I want to discuss with you that past was different for different people, for different groups of people. For example, if you talk about farmers, their past was different, and if you talk about kings and queens, their past was different. Their work was to sit in the palace or to fight wars, to protect the kingdom, to settle the issues of the people. But farmers, they had to go to fields, they had to grow crops. So this way both the people, both the types of people have different past. Similarly, merchants and traders, they have different past than the craft persons. Suppose craft persons are making anything, so their work is to make, but merchants and traders, they have to go to far off places to sell it. So they both have different past. So we can say there was not one past, there were many pasts. In past, people followed different customs and practices. So different groups of people were living in different areas, they had different culture. So that's why we are using the word pasts, not past. Another example is also given about present day, that if today if you will see people of Andaman and Andaman Islands, They get their food from fishing, hunting and gathering. But you can see about ourselves, we have totally different supplies of food. So even today's we have different habits and different culture. Similarly, in the past also people had different habits and different cultures. That's why the title of your book is Our Pasts, Not Our Past. Such differences existed always in ancient times, also in medieval times and present day also. There is one more difference that is described in your book. Suppose there were kings. Kings recorded their deeds, whatever they did, they will make people write on inscriptions or they will write in the books, so we can read today. But ordinary people, they did not write their actions, they did not write their things on inscriptions. So to know about ordinary people, we cannot read inscriptions and books. We need to find these archaeology, means whatever archaeologists have found from the earth surface, so that will tell us about common people, ordinary people. Suppose you find one comb, you find one bowl. So if we have excavated these from a house, we will say, okay, these people used to comb also, these people used bowls to eat food. So this way, whatever we are finding from the earth, that will tell about ordinary people. But about kings, so we can find in any inscriptions, we can find written in many books also. What do dates mean? Dear students, here if you ask any date from your friend, so they will tell you date like this, 26th May 2021. So here I want to tell you these years 2021, and with this we are generally using AD. So these AD, whatever years are there, these carry AD. These are counted from the birth year of Jesus Christ. And prior to Jesus Christ, whatever years were there, we use the word BC with them. So what is meaning of BC and what is meaning of AD? Let us discuss first AD. AD means Anno Domini. Anno Domini is a Latin word and its meaning is in the year of the Lord. Which Lord? Jesus Christ. So this way, whatever years have started from the birth of Jesus, like whatever years we are now using and counting, these all are AD years. Let's talk about BC. BC means before Christ, and these years were counted backward. For example, if we say 1000 BC, one king was born in 1000 BC, then he became the king when he was 50 years old. So in which year he became the king? So you will subtract it. Then you will say he became king in 950 BC. Okay, so these years are counted backwards, but AD years are counted forward. If we say one king was born in 1000 AD, when he was 50 years old, then he became king. In which year he became king? So its answer will be he became king in 1050. Here you will plus it. But in BC you will minus it because these years were counting backward. Hope you have understood this. How to play the activity given in the description. Dear students, for your better understanding of the chapter, I have created some activities. These are like fun games. So here I want to tell you how can you play these activities which are given in the description of the video, YouTube video. Dear students, first of all, when you start watching this video, you will find such scene on your phone. This way your video will be played. Then at the bottom here, bottom of right bottom of this video, you will find this sign. So you will click it. As you will click it, then immediately such page will open before you, this page. and these are the links. Here you will find links to Hindi video, you will find link to the activity which you can play and enjoy like a game. And if you will click on this activity, immediately after clicking, then this page will appear before you on your phone. This will open before you. Here you don't have to fill any activity code, you simply will click on this play. Once you will click, then you will find again this type of page before you, and again here you have to click on play. As you click here, immediately your activity will start being played before you, and you have to tick the correct option, or there will be crossword puzzle also you can find. There are different activities which I have made for you so that you can enjoy. Immediately it will write your scores here, and if you find this activity appears too small and you want to make these words big, then you will click on this. Here you will click, then these words will become bigger in size. If you have any doubt, you can write in comment box. If you want that I should make any video for you on some different topic, that also you can write on comment box. You can write in comment box, so I will prepare that video for you. Thank you. May God bless you.